Hi, good evening. Since it's been raining heavily over here, I decided to do an episode on rains. This time I'm going to be talking about idioms and phrases related to rain. Why are idioms or phrases necessary in spoken English? These are just the fancy words or the fancy set of words that make your language sound really good. When you're not very confident about speaking, when you feel hesitant to speak in a group, these set of idioms or phrases can give you that necessary boost, the confidence, and make the listener think that he probably knows a little bit of language. These are just the fancy ornaments you wear, just for cosmetic purposes. They don't really have a real purpose of language. It's not necessary that you have to speak with idioms and phrases, but only a person who is eloquent in a language, who is very fluent in a language, would use it. So I generally give a set of idioms and phrases with different themes and different contexts, so that when you use them on a regular basis, it gives you a little bit of confidence, and the listener might get the intention that you know a bit of language. So if you're here to speak, to improve your speaking skills, and if you want to speak fluently, then these idioms and phrases might be helpful for you. And the theme that I've chosen today is rain. The first one I'm going to be talking about is storm in a teacup, or tempest in a teapot. Storm and tempest mean the same. Teacup is also sometimes used as teapot. It's also replaced by other words: glass of water, cream bowl, and wash hand basin. As you've already seen, these all have similar meanings, similar contexts, although just a single word is replaced by other words. It means that a small issue is blown out of proportion. It might be something of least importance, but you end up giving a lot of importance and make it look like it's a big storm or a tempest. So when you're referring to issues like which need not have to be given that much of priority, then you could probably say, oh, it's just a storm in the teacup, or tempest in the teapot, or cream bowl, or wash hand basin, or glass of water. Glass of water is also something that's commonly used. So this actually has roots, its origin in Latin and French languages, where it was referred to the same meaning. I mean, when you feel that there's a storm building inside a glass of water, I mean, it's literally not that important. It's a glass of water and something that you can control. So it had its roots in these languages and literature, where there were several references to a storm or a tempest inside something as small as a teapot, or a glass of water, or a wash hand basin, or a cream bowl. So that is how it evolved. And the next idiom I would like to talk about is raining cats and dogs. Raining cats and dogs refers to heavy rain. There are different sources that attribute to how this idiom originated, and one of the most believable and practical and realistic origin is that George Orwell, a famous novelist, had written in one of his books that it was raining so bad and the area had flooded so much that he could see corpses of dogs and cats all over the place. There are other theories, like there were cats and dogs who just walked over thatched roofs of houses, and when it rained, it just fell over. But it's not very realistic to imagine cats and dogs just falling over from your thatched roofs. But there have been repeated references to this George Orwell's book. He used different words, but later it got refined with different editions, and then there were references to the George Orwell's book with those lines being quoted, and then slowly it got polished off, and today it remains as raining cats and dogs. And this is very commonly used. In fact, I know they're completely opposites, but they're very common animals. They're animals that we found just about anywhere. So raining cats and dogs means raining heavily. The next idiom I'm going to be saying is calm before the storm. Calm before the storm refers to the quiet or the lull before a storm or a cyclone happens. This is not a real calm or a real quietness, but it refers to something that's false. Recently, if you followed international news, there was a debate, an argument, or a headline regarding Trump making a statement, the calm of before the storm. And there were reporters thronging outside asking him, what do you mean by the storm? And he says, you wait and watch, you wait and see. So this could also probably, there are interpretations that there is a cold tension building up between the US and the North Korea, and probably this storm refers to North Korea. And see, in this context, it is not an actual calm or a quiet. It's something that's false, that's suppressed. So it's just something to make you believe that, hey, it's calm and quiet and things are under control, but actually it is not. But you're also indicating this is storm that's going to come up. So this has origin in the Bible, where it's not confirmed and it's not authentic information, but there are references in the Bible where it says that there was a lot of storm and a tempest happening in the sea, in the middle of the sea, and Jesus wanted to save a set of people, a ship and the passengers in the ship, and he suppressed a storm temporarily to save the passengers. He didn't stop the storm, he just suppressed it for a while and gave it a little bit of calm before the storm could actually affect the ship. So this is a story that a lot of them believe that is the origin for this idiom, but there's no source, there's nothing that can prove that this is how this is the origin. The next idiom is on cloud nine. This is one of my favorite idiom, a phrase. It's actually a phrase which refers to your extreme happiness on cloud nine. There's also an older version of this called seventh heaven. Cloud nine is something in the recent past, in the past probably 70 to 80 years that it came into existence, this phrase called cloud nine. And the sources, the origin to it is a weatherman, a US weatherman, who referred to extreme happiness to cloud nine. Because the meteorologists classify clouds according to numbers, and it is said that the cloud number 9 is said to be the most attractive and fluffy and very very feather-like, and something that gives you the feeling of immediately something that you associate to happiness. So it is referred to your state of mind when you're extremely happy and you feel like floating in the air and you're on cloud 9. So there is also, like I said, the other references like seventh heaven. Seventh heaven is something that's got its roots in Buddhist and Hindu mythology, where we say that we have a person has 7 lives and 7 births and relives 7 times. And if you're in seventh heaven, it means that you are immortal. You just don't have to be immortal again, and you are in heaven, and you join the heavenly abode. That's the belief. The next idiom is steal my thunder. This is probably the last idiom that I'm dealing with. Steal my thunder. Steal my thunder is something that has got proper sourced origin to it, where there was a playwright called John Dennis, and he wrote a play. It didn't become successful amongst the audience. It wasn't successful, but instead what he used, what was very different about his technique was he used a different methodology to create the sound of thunder. Earlier it used to be thunder sheets and some bolts and some nuts and some other metals used to create the sound of thunder in a play, in a theater, when you have to create all these sounds. John Dennis came up with a completely new methodology, an easy and very adaptable method to create the sound of thunder with a machine, with the tool, with an equipment. And there was a following which there was another play group, there was another theater group that picked up this idea and used it in their play Macbeth. Macbeth, as you know, there's a very famous scene, tempest scene, and they had to create this sound, thunder, sound of thunder, and they used this technology to create the sound of thunder in their play. It became very successful, and John Dennis was frustrated and said, they stole my thunder. I mean, the play wasn't successful. My play wasn't successful, yet they stole my thunder. So that is how this phrase came into existence. If you see the exact words, what he said, damn them, they will not let my play run, but they steal my thunder. Yeah, those were the exact words that playwright John Dennis used to say that, my play wasn't successful, but it was my idea and they became successful. They get all the credit. So this is exactly the meaning for the idiom steal my thunder, which means that you put in all the effort and come up with all the ideas, and you set the ground for something big, and there's someone else who comes and takes the credit, who finishes the project, who uses your idea to their advantage, and the success beckons them. So that is the meaning for steal my thunder. This is something you can use in a lot of practical situations. This is how the world has been existing all the while. So a quick recap of what we saw today. We saw 5 idioms related to rain, and those are storm in a teacup or tempest in a teapot, raining cats and dogs, calm before the storm, on cloud 9, and steal my thunder. You could also replace the pronoun my with anything else. Steal his thunder, steal her thunder, steal their thunder. It could be anything. But these are the 5 idioms that can be really useful and handy when you want to make a conversation with anybody, anywhere. Hope to see you again with yet another video quickly and with more interesting topics. Meanwhile, if you have something more to add on to this theme, this topic of rain, like idioms or phrases or just about vocabulary, please do leave your comments in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, spread the word. Keep learning, keep exchanging information. Happy exchange learning.